Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video from Aman Talks NRL SuperCoach. This is going to be a little bit of a different video, just particularly looking at my own team and my own updated thoughts. I think getting into the rest of the weekend, my thoughts have changed slightly in terms of what I'm thinking about with my own trades, but also just in general with a lot of the players. And I wanted to put this out there because I thought it'd be too hard to kind of respond to comments and whatnot. Give you all an even playing field in terms of hearing the one opinion from me. And yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about round 11, but also round 12 as well, and thinking, what are my thoughts on that in terms of wanting to maximize numbers there and whatnot? Because as I mentioned on the Tuesday stream, I'm not in the best position for round 12. So if you look at my actual numbers as it currently stands, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 13, 14. But a lot of those are origin players. So I've got 14, but I'm expecting Cleary to be out. So that's 1 down, 13. Horsburgh down, so that's 12. Connor Watson, another one, 11. And as it currently stands, Nicholson and Marzu are both injured, and they won't be playing next week. So what am I on? 9. And KP is another one, 8. So I think I'm going to have 8 players, pending any other potential injuries this week, heading into round 12. And I've got 5 trades I can use as a maximum. So my maximum that I can get to is 13, which is the magic number in terms of a number of available players that will score for you in the major buy rounds. But what I've been thinking about more and more is obviously getting to 13 would be very good. But I've kind of tried to mention it on Tuesday, and this is one of the lessons I'm trying to take from last year and other years, is with these major buy weeks, it's all about quality over quantity. You can have 14, 15 players, but if some of them are plotters and a couple of them drop out, but if you've missed out on maybe one of the best captain options or best VCs, it doesn't matter if you've had 15, 16 players, you're probably going to be falling behind. And because of the position I'm in as it currently stands, I think because I'm either going to get maxed out at 13, I think I just need to focus on making sure that I can pull out or run out the best possible 12 to 13 players I can next week. And I've been thinking about that a lot this week because that's going to impact what my trade-ins will be for this week. Now, obviously, Marzu and Nicholson are my 2 injured players for this week, and most likely will be my trade-outs. I've got Adam Dewey there, who I know a lot of people are looking at selling for maybe like an LKT, King Tongia. I probably won't make that particular trade just because I think Adam Dewey is a warm body for me, and he plays round 13. And we know that round 13 is a tricky week. I'm not feeling as uncomfortable about round 13 as it currently stands. I don't own any Sharks or Dolphins players, and I only have Kuraz from the Bulldogs. So I think I should be fine for that round in terms of depth. If you look to round 15, as it currently stands, I think I'm a little bit better off for this one because I've got a Scott Drinkwater, so he'll play that week. And I think some of the trade-in targets that you'll look at for round 12 will also cover round 15. I also get like a Lockie Hubner, I get like a Dylan Egan as well. So I think round 15, I'm probably a little bit better set up than I am for round 12. Round 16, again, probably going to be a little bit more of a difficult week because it's the Dogs and Manly. So I'm going to lose 2 of my gun centers and also the Dragons. So I will lose a Dylan Egan. So round 16 could be a slightly trickier week for me. And then if we go to round 18, as it currently stands, that looks pretty well covered, just not even by planning trades. Obviously, there's a few origin players in there, but looking at it, it looks like you probably will be able to manage round 18 okay. And that's excluding a lot of our Newcastle Knights players, who we'll speak about in a little bit. Round 19 probably will be the most tricky week mini buy round wise, because you've got Raiders players on the buy, Rabbitohs and Manly. We're going to be loading up on a lot of Raiders players. But again, that's a few weeks away. I think we can plan for that. My immediate focus though is round 12, round 13. And I think just by going through all of those weeks, round 12 probably does look to be the round I need to make sure I'm best set up for. So how I'm thinking about going about that this week. So Nicholson and Marzu obviously injured. Cleary is also on the bye. And we spoke about it a lot on Tuesday. As someone who doesn't own Nicho Hynes, I think I probably will have to sell Cleary either this week or next week. Because again, talking about quality, I think Nicho Hynes would be one of those players who I'm going to be a little bit fearful of not owning because he's looking much better to my eyes in the last few weeks. And in round 12, I believe they play the Roosters. So again, it's not like it's a insanely difficult matchup. They do miss round 13, so that it will hurt my round 13 cover. But as we just went through before, I think round 13 I'm okay. And Jerome Hughes, my other backup half, will have the Gold Coast Titans. Yes, Cleary will have Parramatta and the West Tigers round 13, 14. But I think I might just have to cop it through those 2 weeks and just get by with Jerome Hughes and Nicho as my halves for the origin period. The thing with Hynes though, I don't think I'll be going Cleary to Hines this week. I think one of them is matchup related. Sharks at home, but it is Melbourne. The Storm have only allowed 2 scores above 60 points to right edge playmakers. Again, that's a bit of a niche stat. It's been a small sample size, but it is suspected to be a wet game as well. You can say that wet hair Nico is on a different level, but I don't necessarily think trading him with confidence this week is going to lead to big points, and I might just defer that trade next week in that critical buy round. It also just means let's just see what happens. Does he, make sure he gets through this week, because he would miss round 13 as well. So that's the thing. If I bought him in this week and he didn't go great this week, and then maybe there's an injury or something, he misses round 12 and then he misses round 13, you'd be a bit annoyed about that. So I think I'm not going to do Cleary to Hines this week, and I think my 2 trade outs will be Nicholson and Marzu. But the main crux of the matter, I guess, is trying to focus on getting that quality. I need cash to do it. And the main trade I'm looking at is Ponga to Teddy next week. That's going to require probably close to 350k, if not more than that, if Teddy goes well this week. And I think it's a good matchup for Teddy this week. And I was trying to look ahead to next week as, if I wanted to make a downgrade next week, what are the options? You've got maybe a Fletcher Hunt from Newcastle Knights who should be playing, but some of the reports on Marzu, he might not be out for more than, say, 4 to 6 weeks. Fletcher Hunt might get you round 15 cover, but it's a bit meh where he's only center wing. He's probably not going to get any dual status, and if the alternative would be probably getting enough next round. I have thought about getting like a Riley Smith for Connor Watson, but I just think I want to minimize trades at hooker and 5'8" ideally. I probably will have to trade in a 5'8" though. So what I think I'm going to be doing this week to generate that cash to try to make sure that I can get quality guys in next week, I think I will go Marzu to King Tonga. I don't necessarily love King Tonga because there is job security risk with him, but he is 198k. He is going to go up in price. He doesn't cover round 12. This is the thing, but he's probably the best downgrade that I can see as it currently stands. And help me out in the comments as well. And because he should play round 13, and look, hopefully he just keeps his spot and then he can just be a backup to Munster. And he should also get halfback 5'8" dual as well. So he should hopefully add some flexibility down the line, having the 5'8" and the halfback flexibility. Because instead of Nico Hines, maybe I decide next week, maybe I trade for like a Dylan Brown. You just don't know what might happen. I could go Cleary to Dylan Brown at halfback instead, and then I can get 2 guys who are switching 5'8" halfback. But I think I'll go King Tonga to free up a bulk amount of cash this week. And then I think I'll go Nicholson. Now, the first replacement I thought of was Hosking. He is the most popular trade in. But as you can see, I've got like 1.1 million in the bank. And I'm thinking about break-evens, thinking about the matchups, and I'm thinking about not necessarily just going point of difference for the sake of it, but I'm thinking who are the guys who are going to be, in my opinion, the best point scorers that maybe not many people will own. And I think someone like a Joe Tarpany really fits that bill. You can see via duels, I can go get any center wing this week. I can get any front rower. I can get any back rower. Now, the only reason I'm probably leaning away from a center wing this week, Connor Tracy looks like a very appealing pod. He's got good matchups in round 14 against Parramatta, covers round 12, 15 and 18, playing at fullback as well. But again, there's a small part of me that is a little bit concerned that without Stephen Crichton, I feel like maybe some of his attacking potential will reduce, because I just feel like the last few weeks when Stephen Crichton's been playing absolutely amazing, that sweet play on the right, I just think Connor Tracy's benefited from a few easy line break assists, try assists, and without Stephen Crichton, I think are those potentially going to dry up? I'm just not 100% confident in him to want to go him as a bit of a point of difference. Your other point of difference center is Kale Iro. But, with Iro, I think he's a very good option. He's got good base stats. His base power average for the season is 48, but he has been scoring tries pretty much every single week. Hiroti also was scoring a lot of tries, so that left center position is clearly obviously getting a lot of the attack. But there is going to be a point where it's going to dry up a little bit, and he might revert back from his current close to 80 average to maybe a 65 to 70. Still very good, but maybe not quite what you're paying for. And then you got Farnworth, and I think Farnworth is in the same position where he's been getting a lot of tries in the last few weeks. He also misses round 13. And again, if I have an option to pick a gun who's a lower owned, who covers 12 and 13, I think at this point in time, I'll take it. And so in center wing, Connor Tracy, Iro, and Farnworth. Those were the 3 I was kind of looking at. I already have Fletcher Sharp. Dylan Lucas, with this news around Bradman Best being out for close to maybe a couple of months, it's not going to be great for Lucas. I did run some numbers. His base average at center last year was still 46.6. It was pretty healthy, and he actually still averaged around 67 because he scored 3 tries in his 5 games at center. I think if you are still keen on Lucas this week, maybe if you're looking at him or Fletcher Sharp, maybe you just lean Fletcher Sharp this week. But Lucas, I think, is still going to be a good pickup. You can see how he goes this week playing at center, but I think he generally still feels like a guy who's going to be a good option at center, but maybe not the slam dunk when he's playing in the back row. But I already have him, and I'm not going to be trading him out. So I think center for me is fine. I think it's well covered. Second row forward, again, there's not a huge amount of options apart from maybe a Hosking. Britton Nicker is fine, but he misses 13. Kolomatangi could be an option, but he misses round 12. So for me, I'm just looking front row. And I can switch Nafahu White down to my back row. And then I've got a Joe Tarpany, who's been averaging 79.4 for the season. He had a down game against the Titans, funnily enough, actually. I think it was in round 7, I want to say. Just going to see the last time when the Raiders played. It was in round 7 when he only scored 49 points against the Titans. But apart from that first round where he played 45 minutes against the Warriors and coming back from his suspension, 92, 91, 103, 49, 88, 72, 89. These are like similar numbers to what Kale Iro was doing, but Kale Iro has been scoring a try in every round. Farnworth the same. Tarpany's been doing this with only 2 tries, and I just think that during the Origin period, he's going to have to step up even more so. If Corey Horsburgh is missing games through Origin, Zach Hosking's moved out of this middle rotation. I don't necessarily think the minutes are going to be up, but he's played 60 minutes the last 2 weeks, and he just feels like a safety blanket. I don't need to worry about him except for round 15, but as I showed before, I think round 15 I'm generally well covered, and he could easily score a try against the Titans and go over for 100 plus. And I just feel a bit more comfortable with Tarpany, and especially when Payne Haas is going to be missing games through Origin. The news on Terrell May is that he's probably not going to get picked for New South Wales, so I feel like I can really have a solid front row of Terrell May and Tarpany during the Origin period. And yes, I missed out on Hosking this week. But as you can see, I've got 369k in the bank. The main reason I'm looking at that is because I just think if Teddy is available next week, he is the guy who I'll be scared of the most. I can still probably afford Cleary to Hines next week. I don't think Hines is going to be going up that much in cash where that trade will cost me money. Same with even like a Horsburgh to Hosking. I think I can probably make that move next week without losing money. So really, the only trade I need to make sure I have got the money for is Ponga to Tedesco. And this is why King Tonga looks like the best option for me at the moment. He's 198k. And if I can just feel more comfortable saying next week, I can go Ponga to Teddy, Cleary to Hines, and it doesn't have to be Horsburgh to Hosking. It could be Connor Watson potentially. To another, I could just go Nuff at hooker. It just gives me the flexibility though to still maybe want to get a Hosking next week. If Dylan Egan picks up a knock, I can go Egan to Hosking next week. Maybe I do decide to go someone a little bit different. Maybe I do get like a Britton Nicker instead. But I'm just thinking about the money. And I think if I didn't get King Tonga and instead got like an Iro, it leaves me like 100k in the bank. And it would mean I 100% have to try to get a downgrade next week. But again, if other injuries happen and then you all of a sudden can't make that downgrade, if that meant I missed out on getting someone like Tedesco, I'd be pretty annoyed at myself. So this is why, again, I know this video has been going on longer than I thought, but I wanted to bring it back to quality over quantity. And I think King Tonga is not amazing, but he's probably the best downgrade reliably that I can get this week that allows me to get a quality front rower in Tarpany. Not talking to you, Siri. But it also means that I think this will set me up hopefully next week to be able to lock in those 3 gun fullbacks in Teddy, Drinkwater, and Pappenhausen. Now, of course, if Turbo is available next week, that's fine. We might just pivot to Turbo. It just means I've got more money to play with. It's not a massive problem to say have more money in the bank. It just gives me a bit more flexibility as well. And this is why I think I'm happy to go down this path and probably be one short in round 12. But I think have all of my bases covered. If I can get Teddy, Hines, have a lot of these gun centers, have someone like a Joe Tarpany as well, I think this is going to set up my team best long run. It just might mean that round 12 is a bit of a sacrifice for me. But I think these are going to be my likely trades heading into the round. I haven't fully sorted out my reserves. I don't think I'll play King Tonga. With these trades, I will probably have the reserve on a Pappenhausen, a Corey Horsburgh, definitely a Joe Tarpany, and then it would be one of a Hubner, Nfahu White, Sanders Smith, or maybe even an Adam Dewey as well. I haven't made up my mind yet on that one. But, all of those guys probably not the most reliable of picks anyway, so we'll see how I go. But, yeah, just wanted to end the video there. Just wanted to give you some updated thoughts on how I've been thinking about the team and other options this week. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Let me know if you do, and if you do enjoy more of these kind of shorter, 10, 15-minute videos on my own team and just thoughts as well later in the week. I always like to try to do these if I can, because my thoughts do change during the week, but, life gets busy and it's not always possible to just pull out another video. But hopefully you all enjoyed this one. We'll sign off there and catch you all in the next one. Cheers.